Roger. How are you?
Hey,
Hey,
good.
doing
Thanks for
great.
having us.
Yes.
Thank you. So, congratulations on the enormous success of the show, not just here, but in the CW. It was a huge ratings hit. And now we're about to head into season 3 here in Canada. So, what can viewers expect in the new season?
I mean, wha it's so interesting because normally we would have everything would just evolve nicely, but because we're also personally and professionally in a pandemic, it's been really interesting to kind of weave the narratives together. You'll still find the amazing cases and sort of the very human journey of both mine and Roger's characters, Jenny and Donovan. But we do have to address the fact that we're in a pandemic. It's not something that overtakes this season, but it is something that that is, I like to call it's like another character that plays this year. So it's not the
Yeah.
main focus, but
That's
it
a good way
is
of
something.
putting
Yeah.
it.
Pardon?
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? It's like a character. It ebbs and flows, comes in and out, just depends on, what's going on. So it's we have 10 episodes instead of 8. So you can expect more of us. Which hopefully is
Oh
a
yeah.
good
What
thing.
what I love about this season too is that I think they allowed. I mean, amidst all that crazy moments where we just we're allowed to laugh and just kick back a little bit and show our personalities. Even amidst some craziness, we find little levity and joy within each other and everything around us. And so it's going to be. I think it'll be an interesting journey for the fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you like best about working with each other?
Oh,
Because
I
she's
mean,
goofy. She's a very goofy girl, and so yes, we
this is
do.
our ongoing thing. If I go I mean, we've got so much shorthand on set, but if I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba," I can do that anywhere, and that's how I find out where he is. I'll walk onto set and I'm like, "Where's Roger?" And so I just do that, and then I hear it, and I'm like, "Ah, he's over there."
Yes.
I can find him
Okay.
anywhere. I mean, we've known each other for 15 years, so it goes way it goes way
It goes
back.
way back. Yeah.
But I think, yeah, he's so right. This season, we really wanted to focus a lot more on the levity, and that was a decision we made pre-pandemic. And we're like, no, we're still rolling with it because I know for me, even being in this pandemic, I am finding the moments to laugh. I am not
Yes.
allowing myself to just cry. I'm like, or even when I'm crying, sometimes I start laughing because I'm like the absurdity of what's happening. And so I think that's something that we really like to play with. And because we have this shorthand and because we've been friends for so long, um, we've actually like pulled a little bit, I think, of like Serinda and Roger into like Jenny and
That's
Donovan.
true.
There's
That's
a
true.
little
It's
bit.
true. And
You won't hear
they
that
let us
little
do
singing
it.
thing,
Yeah.
but you know.
And speaking of levity, Roger, you have a great karaoke scene in the season opener. It's great.
So
Yes, I'll
And
be rented out for weddings soon. No, no,
yep, yep. And then Serinda with your
continue. Sorry.
character, yeah, she kind of got over the trauma of her sister's death and her part in it, and now it's kind of coming back to haunt her a little bit with the inquiry being opened up again. So, what were you excited for both of you to explore this season with your characters?
well, I think for me, I don't think she's ever going to get over the trauma. I think that's one thing that television shows like to skip on, and it's actually really important for me as an actress, I think, to honor that in a character. There is no getting over of trauma, but there is the evolution of trauma. And so I think, now that she understands her role in her sister's death, and she's starting to go to therapy for it, and she's trying different ways. There's different waves. Season 2 is the suppression of the anger and the rage at herself and at her family for this happening, and in season 3 she's really using it as, it's not my fault, but it is something that I did. And I think mixed with the pandemic and the exhaustion and all of that, she's trying to figure out how to release that from her body, because she's had a really disconnected journey with her body since she was very, very young. And so for me, no matter what's on the page for the cases, I always try to figure out what's the evolution of this human being, because we always see it through that lens. I will always see the world around Jenny through the lens of her past. And it can change colors and it can come to light more, and and there's all that, but it's very much still through the lens of her experience as a human being who happens to be a coroner.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's it. We're the sum total of our experiences, right? And so it's great to for them to, as I said, now people have gotten the background on us over the last 2 seasons, and they've learned a lot about us. And so now they'll learn even more this season. And for Donovan, he has some challenges that he has to face where he hasn't been there before. He has to maybe learn to lean on other people, which is not easy for him because he's yeah. Yeah. But he's a strong individual and he's used to being in charge and to be at a where you're vulnerable and have to rely on others. It's a tougher thing for him. So he learns that, and so I think it'll be fun for the audience to see that journey as well.
And as artists, is there a moment that you're most proud of your work, either this season or previous seasons?
I think there's some great moments this season. I look forward to you guys seeing it. I can't tell you what they are because that would give away some things, but there are a few moments this season where we connect really well and we share some things with each other. That's just kind of like when we were in those moments. It was just nice to be there and just feel it and go with it. It was just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is
there was
why
like
we do this.
the one between our two characters. I think one of the things that you don't often see on television is the development of a male and a female character as friends in this
Yeah,
way. And a lot of the times there's like, oh, by season 6, they're love interests. And you're like, okay, but there is also this amazing capacity for two people of the opposite sex to be able to have this
yeah,
friendship.
great
And
friendship.
you
You got it,
start to see this slow build over 3 seasons of these two humans at first that are sort of pitted against each other because of their
yeah,
industry, and then going through, like, we deal with the political drama that's going on in the world. We have 2 or 3 episodes all about Black Lives Matters, and so it's like we look at that friendship and how they're talking to one another, and having a mixed race son on the show. There's this like connection that's starting to happen with Jenny and Donovan,
yeah,
and it all comes together in this sort of beautiful scene at near the end of the season, and it was just so lovely. And I think the way that the writers are investing in the friendship this year, and we're finding it through comedy but also through this like really deep undercurrent of just like human emotion and connection. Those are the ones that I'm excited for the
yeah,
but yeah, right? I'm like, because it's
yeah.
different. It's different than normal
It's
TV. Like
true.
normally they would lean in and start making out, and instead we like high five each other, and I'm like, oh my god, my heart, Donovan. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah, it's
humans
true.
being there for each other. It's great.
Yeah, they're there for each other, and we've also got some great directors who've done some great camera work to enhance that, and so that's been fun this season to see those shots. I think there's even a humor part. There's like this 10-minute shot that goes from the car into a building and through it, and then that great
Oh,
transition one that we were talking about just now. And there's some beautiful shots and camera work that's done, and we have a great team and they've done some great stuff to enhance what we're doing on screen. So we're really blessed.
And what's the fan reaction been like from worldwide fans?
It's been
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
It's
It's
been
been-
great. I mean, it's sort of like going to like a new high school every single place that it airs, because you're like, are they gonna like me? Are they gonna let me sit with them? Like, am I cool where you are? Like, I don't know. And then you
yeah,
like show up and you're like, oh shoot, we're cool. Like
yeah, they like
people
me.
like us. And so it's, yeah, it's, I mean, I was at the beginning of last year, we were in Madrid promoting, we were in Cannes promoting. I live in Los Angeles, and so now finally with it on the CW, like to see
Yeah,
all of our US fans kind of go crazy, and for CW to pick up the show, like we were in our first season and they picked us up through our third season. Like
yeah,
that's not normal. And so to like feel that support in the US, and like, yeah, it's been lovely, and we have such amazing fans that really resonate with the human struggle. And obviously Jenny deals with anxiety and panic attacks and struggles with mental illness, and so I think having a lead character that has that package, um the messages that I get from all the fans of feeling like they're seen, and their experience being reflected back to them is just, that's what makes it worthwhile going to work, is because you're like, oh yes, teach me more too, how can I make it better, how
yeah.
can I represent more.
Yeah, it's true. And we have a very sophisticated and intelligent fan base. And so, you get some really great feedback from them. Some of them are like, "Oh, you're smart. You're a good one." And so, but yeah, but we love it. And they're, as you said, very invested in what we do. And they support it and they want to see it. And they'll even give suggestions. Oh, you guys should do this. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah, like cases, like case suggestions.
yes,
I'm like, wait a second, how do you know this? I'm like,
yes, exactly.
I write back, I'm like,
Exactly.
that's a great and creepy and very specific idea.
Yeah.
Where did this come from, ma'am? But we love it because a lot of people just get
Yeah.
really creative and just start thinking
Yeah.
about like great ideas. So, it's a
Yeah.
collaborative
It's great.
experience.
Oh, that's amazing. So fans all over the world are seriously hooked on the show. What have the two of you been watching lately?
Oh, I'm watching it. Oh, wait, I watched. Oh, Bridgerton.
Bridgerton,
It's good.
And
solid.
yes, I got caught up in the corny.
I'm watching The Bachelor right now. There's no judgment coming from this side
Oh,
of the screen to that side. I mean, that's part of the reason why, like, when we talked to the creators at first, I was like, everybody needs a bit of an escape right now.
yeah,
And while we want to make sure that we do address the pandemic, we want to make sure that we also can live in that world where, you can turn on the show and you can laugh alongside us and you can cry alongside us. And so for
yeah.
me, I'm like, when I need to laugh, I am watching The Bachelor. Like, I'm laughing so hardcore and it's great. And then if I
Wait a
want,
sec, they're shooting in Vancouver this season. Someone said, or something like that.
Are
what?
they?
Yeah, I think Bachelor,
Not this
Bachelor. One of them, they're shooting here in Vancouver.
The Bachelorette movie.
Yeah, this season.
I need to come
Look at
No.
you
home this
two.
moment.
Oh my God.
I need to crash the set. Tell me all the secrets. Yeah, clearly I don't like the show at all.
Yeah.
But you need to like escape a little bit, and then you watch like the
True.
serious ones, and
Yeah.
what is the one? My Honor or no?
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Your
started Your
Honor.
Honor. Amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of really great
A
television
lot
out
of stuff
there.
out there.
Totally. Well, thank
But
you
I
so,
like The
so much.
Bachelor because
Play the fifth. The guilty pleasures. We're allowed.
Well, thank you so, so much for your time. Thank you for Coroner. I can't wait to see the rest of the season.
of
Can't
Well,
wait
course.
for
thanks
the
for
fans
having
to
us.
see it. Thank you. Have a
Thanks for
lovely
having us.
day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.